Conditions apply.
Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Julie Smyth. Today's top stories. 2 separate criminal investigations are underway into the deaths of 2 men in Kerry and Cork. WIT President says a COVID outbreak would be inevitable if all classes at the college were to be held on campus. John Halligan says he'd go to jail to help someone die with dignity. And in sport, Shamrock Rovers will host Serie A giants AC Milan in the second qualifying round of the Europa League. Gardaí are investigating the deaths of 2 men in Cork and Kerry over the weekend. No causes of death have been released, but 2 separate criminal investigations are underway. Kim Buckley reports.
These 2 men in their 20s died on Saturday in separate incidents in Cork and Kerry. 28-year-old Colm Casey, who's from Macroom, was found dead outside a house at Eagle Valley in Cork City in the early hours of Saturday morning. He became unconscious after horseplay with friends, and a criminal investigation is underway. Elsewhere in Kerry, a criminal investigation's been launched into the unexplained death of a 26-year-old man. Dara Sheehan was found dead outside the Gleneagle Hotel in Killarney on Saturday night. A post-mortem has since been completed, the results of which will not be released for operational reasons, and Gardaí are appealing for witnesses.
Groups representing Gardaí say new powers to crack down on pubs are confusing the public and officers themselves. Legislation is being published later to allow Gardaí close down establishments which don't follow the COVID-19 guidelines. The new laws could mean a pub forced to close must place a sign outside or face a €2,500 fine, while those which reopen during their closure could be fined €5,000 and jailed for a year. The government's also considering allowing gigs to go ahead, but only if alcohol isn't served. General Secretary of the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors, Antoinette Cunningham, says officers aren't clear on what powers they have.
Are we supposed to be looking for receipts? Winter is coming. It's going to drive people from outdoor dining indoors. The 2 metre rule can be reduced to 1 metre indoors under certain circumstances if you separate entrance and exit and marked pathways and walkways, sanitiser, face masks. That's not for Gardaí to be policing that.
The president of Waterford Institute of Technology says a COVID outbreak would be inevitable if all classes at the college were to be held on campus. Willie Donnelly says situations such as shared student accommodation could result in outbreaks, and is one of the reasons the institute decided that most classes would now be held online. Speaking to Damien Tiernan on Daysha Today, the WIT president explains why they made the decision.
Are we going to bring 9,000 students into Waterford? Now think about it, we're very different from any other city in Ireland. 9,000 students represent about 15% of the population of Waterford, okay? You don't have that in Dublin, you don't have that in Cork, you don't have that in Limerick. Into a very, let's say, small footprint, okay? So the college is quite small, as you know. We've 9,000 students, we've 1,000 staff. What is the possibility of an outbreak in that type of environment?
Former Students' Union President at WIT, Michael Murphy, told Damien that although there have been answers surrounding accommodation, students that have placements and labs have been left in the dark.
This is probably the right call. It's been given due consideration, but I suppose it's the clarity the students are looking for around a number of different issues that still haven't been provided. But I suppose there's still an awful lot of unanswered questions when it comes to students that need to go to placement in regards to labs. When are my labs? If I have labs, am I expected to be here Monday and Tuesday? Am I expected to be here just on Monday? Am I going to be here Tuesday and Thursday? People don't know if they need accommodation or not.
Meanwhile, college students will still have to pay €3,000 fees even if they won't be on campus for most of the week. Minister for Education Norma Foley has said the bill will not be reduced despite the majority of class time potentially taking place online. The Union of Students in Ireland has called this disappointing and wants it reduced by €500. Fine Gael MEP Frances Fitzgerald has confirmed she would like to be considered for the position of EU Commissioner. The former Justice Minister is among 3 candidates in the running to replace Phil Hogan, who resigned last week. The Dublin MEP says she's aware the appointment is a complex government decision. Vice President of the European Parliament and Fine Gael MEP Mairead McGuinness has also expressed interest in the role, while Simon Coveney has been tipped as the frontrunner for the position. A former TD and junior minister for Waterford says he would be willing to go to jail to help someone die with dignity. John Halligan has called on politicians to finish the work he started on a bill to decriminalise assisted suicide in certain cases. He introduced the Dying with Dignity bill in 2015, but was no longer able to move his own private member's bill once he became a junior minister in 2016. He spoke to Damien Tiernan on Deisha Today.
There are people who fight right to the end. These people should be given all of the care they want and can get, all the palliative care and the best medical help they can get. But there are some people who say, I've had enough. I'm putting my family through pain. I'm putting my daughters, my sons, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever, my husband or my wife, and I'm not able to do this anymore, and I'm going to die anyway. And I think these people should be helped.
John Halligan says he has helped people find information about travelling to Switzerland to access assisted suicide. He says he would provide financial assistance if asked.
If they wanted to go, absolutely.
You would?
I would, yes. No question about that, even though it's illegal to do it, but I wouldn't care. I believe in it so fervently that I would do it.
Would you go to jail for it?
If I had to, I would stand on my principles 100%. No question about that.
There was disappointment for passengers hoping to travel by train between Waterford and Limerick this morning. The service, suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic, was due to resume at 7:20 from Plunkett Station in Waterford. However, due to a technical fault, bus transfers were put in place instead. Waterford Green Party TD Marco Kosick has called for more emphasis on the rail network.
It hasn't been a high priority. Investment in rail across the country in general hasn't been a high priority for previous governments. It is a priority for this government. From a green perspective, I mean, we need to tackle our emissions from transport, but also we need to tackle congestion within our cities. And we know that there's a big congestion problem in Waterford City.
More than €1.6 million to be made available for what's been described as long-sought and often delayed infrastructure works across Waterford County. The money's being made available as part of government plans to fix roads and to make walking and cycling safer. Nationally, €33 million will be spent on active travel projects and €14 million on climate change adaptation steps. Locally, over €1.2 million will be spent on fixing footpaths and improving access and cycleways in the county, with a further £500,000 on climate measures, primarily in Tramore and Ardmore. Fianna Fáil councillor Eamon Quinlan says the money will benefit towns across the county.
So this is great news for villages like Kilmac, towns like Kilmac, and villages across the county who will now see important infrastructural upgrades. And it's important because these projects have been passed at Waterford City and County Council by councillors, but they had been delayed across the summer and because of COVID and due to funding shortfalls. So this isn't money that we'd hope to spend. It is new money.
A criminal trial has begun in Waterford for the first time since March. Civil and family law sittings have been continuing since the end of May, but activity is being increased in the district and circuit courts. The Central Criminal Court is sitting here until September 11th and is today hearing a rape case.
Sports News on WLR.
With Virgin Media Waterford. Want super fast broadband today? Drop into Virgin Media George's Street and take it home with you. Easy as that.
Very good afternoon from the Sports Desk. I'm Nigel Kelly. Starting with the Europa League, where Shamrock Rovers will host Serie A giants AC Milan in the second qualifying round of the Europa League. The draw was made this afternoon, and as with round one, the match will be played behind closed doors at the Tallaght Stadium. Dundalk were seeded and will be delighted to have drawn Andorran club Inter Escaldes away from home. Meanwhile, Tottenham face a trip to Bulgaria to face Lokomotiv Plovdiv. Rangers drew Lincoln Red Imps. Linfield and Coleraine will both be at home and the draw with Motherwell and Florian respectively. Those single leg ties will take place on the 17th of September. Rovers are involved in tonight's second round action in the FAI Cup this evening. The holders take on Cork City at Tallaght Stadium from 5:45, and in the other tie this evening it's Bohemians hosting First Division leaders Cabin-Teely in 7:45 kick-off. Moving closer to home in soccer, where the Republic of Ireland squad have begun training this morning ahead of Thursday night's Nations League game away to Bulgaria. James McCarthy is a doubt for the game and his fitness will be assessed. St Pat's Athletic trio Shane Griffin, Lee Desmond and Conor Kearns have joined the session, and manager Stephen Kenny says the upcoming games against Bulgaria and Finland will be a good chance to prepare for the Euro 2020 playoff against Slovakia.
These games against Bulgaria and Finland are hugely important in their own right because of the Nations League competitive games, because of the World Cup playoff, but also gives us an opportunity to put, to formulate the team and get it ready for the playoff against Slovakia also.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Lionel Messi's father and representative Jorge will meet with Barcelona officials on Wednesday to discuss his son's future. The captain of the Spanish Giants informed the club he wants to leave last week and did not attend a pre-season medical yesterday. La Liga dashed Messi's hopes of leaving on a free transfer by stating his release clause will have to be paid if he is to go. Moving to news of Harry Maguire, who will be given extra time off by Man United following his arrest and subsequent court case in Greece this month. Those members of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's squad not on international duty are expected back for pre-season training from Wednesday, but it's understood the United captain will not link up with his teammates until the weekend at the earliest. Moving to Gaelic games, where Ballygunner players and coaching staff woke up this morning as 7-time county champions, having beaten Passage yesterday 123 to 9 points in a mostly unchallenged affair which saw Passage score just 2 points from play. Ballygunner are still the standard bearers for Waterford hurling. Manager Darragh O'Sullivan is not concerned with whether or not it's good for Waterford hurling, as they just focus on what they need to do to improve.
The competition in the panel, you know what I mean, and the young lads coming in, you know what I mean, are energising the thing the whole time, and we like to think that we can keep on with that. Like, our minors won again this year, and we've good players coming through there, and that's what it's about. Like, we're setting the standard in Waterford, but we're trying to push the bar every single year, and we're trying to improve every single year. And Micheál O'Donnell there said to me, is it good for Waterford hurling to be won 7 in a row? That's not our fault. Like, I think we're raising the bar every single year we go out, and it's up to the other teams to get to that level.
In the intermediate final last evening, Ballyduff Upper got the better of Ballyduff Lower when they ran out as 132 to 223 winners in the Fraher Field. Upper manager Maurice Geary says it's a heart-stopping game to be in charge of.
We're absolutely delighted. Heart-stopping again. This team is a very difficult team if you're a manager, because you're wondering, are you going to have a traumatic shock? But it was a fantastic performance. I thought, to be honest, we were in trouble there with about 15 minutes to go. The legs seemed to be dying a bit, but in fairness to them, they came back again and pushed on, and I think we were clear enough winners at the end.
In tennis, Novak Djokovic and Coco Gauff are among those in first round action on day one of the US Open in New York today. Gauff is up against Anastasia Sevastova. Djokovic takes on Bosnian Damir Djumur. And in racing, the ground at Roscommon is soft, yielding in places, but a dry and warm day is expected. The 7-race card gets underway at 4 o'clock. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford.